Hey. All right, so I want to share with you the biggest marketing mistake that I saw in 2020 and what you should do instead in 2021. So I'm like a full-on nerd about all things systems and tracking and like I love all that stuff. So what I usually like to do at the end of every year is kind of look back at everything that we've seen working in my business as well as with all of my clients in my group programs or my one-on-one clients. So we do have like quite a bit of data in a few different niches. And I like to kind of bring it all together and see what's working and what is straight up not worth your time. Because we're not about wasting time in this community, right? So thing that I want to share with you, the number one thing that I see holding entrepreneurs back right now, specifically in marketing and specifically in 2020, I think this has been a problem for a while, but in 2020, I think a lot of us were looking for solutions. And so this started coming up a lot, which is shiny object syndrome. I saw so many entrepreneurs changing directions, changing business models, changing marketing strategies, changing their mind like so much in 2020. And I think that's something that's like somewhat normal in any business. But what I really wish if we all did this next year, I really don't know what would happen. I think something incredible. But what I really wish that everyone would start to implement in 2021 is to have one hyper focus for at least 90 days at a time. So what I'll see is like an entrepreneur will say, okay, I'm going to start doing reels. Reels were pretty hot in 2020, and I'm going to talk more about them in a minute. But let's say someone's like, okay, I'm going to start doing reels. They do them for like 3 weeks, put out 10 reels in a couple weeks, and maybe start seeing some growth. Maybe, kind of get burnt out on the reels and don't see instant growth. Like I think a lot of us have heard some rumors about people growing their Instagram by like 30,000 people since starting to do reels and stuff like that. So we all had like pretty high expectations. But 3 weeks in, they see somebody else who's focusing on webinar marketing, and they change their mind midway through 3 weeks. 3 weeks in, midway through the month, now they're starting webinar marketing, or now they want to start, focusing on doing Instagram lives or something like that. And the problem with this is that obviously we're not seeing things through for long enough. Every single thing that I've implemented in my business that actually works did not work when we first started it. None of the things that have brought in consistent sales and are like the scalable processes that we have in our business worked immediately. And the reason that they do work now is that we stayed committed to them for at least 1 quarter. And a lot of times with bigger projects, we'll stay committed for like 2 or 3 or for a full year. And so every single one of these things really does take a lot of testing, tweaking, and also just like mastering your own skill level at. And I think having a laser focus for 90 days. So not, I do a lot of in last year, I did a lot of month planning with you guys, which was really incredible. And what we would do a lot of times at the beginning of the quarter is set one big quarter goal and then 3 month goals to support that quarter goal. And what came up every single month, every time we did this, is people would say, well, what if I have 2 goals for the month? Or what if I have, 3 goals for my quarter? No. I don't want to be the no person in your life, but somebody's got to tell you, you will get more results if you focus on just one thing per quarter. And not only will you have better results, but you'll be able to be almost a master in that one area and then be able to scale it and then move on to something else and master that. So rather than having, 10 steps, rather than having one step in 10 directions, you've got 10 steps in one direction. And I really think that if more people committed to this next year, we would start seeing some really crazy results, and people would really start stacking their marketing techniques, and it would start to become really exciting. And so what I want to share with you are a couple things that we found actually are working. And what I recommend is focusing on one thing per quarter, which I kind of just alluded to. And what we really like to do is we like to choose every year, we break out our quarters into these 4 areas. So we choose between either the marketing system, the growth system, the sales system, or the operations system. And we set our quarter goal in one of those 4 areas. So for example, in January, our quarter 1 goal is all about the sales system. This is what we're focusing on. And we've got some specific projects behind the scenes that we're going to be working on. But that's it. That's our entire focus, is to master this one project within our sales system in our business. So I really recommend you do the same thing. So again, the systems that you can choose from, or you can choose whatever you want, but the systems that I recommend are the marketing system, the growth system, the sales system, and the operations system. And I want to tell you what we found has been working in each one of these areas, in case you want to try some of these things next year. So number one, for the marketing system, if you're focusing on like, all right, we need to step up our marketing game, we need more eyeballs on our stuff, we want our people to be really hot, really warm, really feeling nourished by us and supported by us, so that our sales system and our growth system work even better. What we found worked the best in 2020, no surprise, are Reels. Reels are blowing up. They're super simple. What I'm kind of figuring out is that people just literally have no attention span anymore. Like, I used to create these long, hour-long videos. Honestly, my IGTVs are probably too long now. I used to create super long videos. Then I went to shorter IGTVs, then, created short Instagram stories. And now I'm literally just like trying to tell you guys stuff in like a 15-second reel. But it's so interesting. I'm so much more likely to see a reel, be intrigued by the person who created the reel, and then go and check out their account and, lurk and do all the rest of the stuff, right? And so we've really found that reels are working incredibly well, specifically for warming your audience up, having a little bit of fun and like creating that kind of fun connection with your audience, but also for actually growing your Instagram account, which is really rare. It's actually quite, in my experience, it's been quite difficult to use Instagram as like your #1 growth machine in your business. But this has been working really well. So no shocker here. Reels are working really well. As like a runner-up, second best prize, joint Instagram lives have been working incredibly well. And maybe I'll create a whole video on the process that we use for that, with like we suggest to our clients. That has been working incredibly well. If that's something you're interested, leave me a comment, because I'm not sure if anyone wants to know about that or not. If you do, definitely leave a comment. Okay, I gotta keep it going here. Growth system. So if you are looking to grow your audience, specifically grow your email list with people who are the right leads, who are eventually going to see your signature method and be able to, work with you. What we found working incredibly well is podcast guesting. This is #1, like hands down. This has been growing our list the most this year, in terms of organic growth. So I mean, everyone should get on it. I created a whole course about it because I'm so obsessed with this method, and I personally am, implementing it in my business, and a lot of my clients are too. So definitely recommend this. This is huge. Okay, for your sales system, tried and true, still the best sales technique is sales calls. Our sales calls, they're still closing the most. We have the highest conversion rates on sales calls, and we're actually going, even harder on sales calls in 2021 for this reason, because they just work. And I know a lot of us want to get away from it. So you just have to get a little bit more creative with what processes and what systems you have set up in your business, so that you're not just like on the phone all day, because no bueno, but it works. So if you're looking to close clients, get people on the phone. That's just bottom line. And then operation system, the thing that's working the best here is month planning. So I do a lot of different like planning courses and stuff like that with my clients, or with just you guys. And I've done year planning, quarter planning, like the whole thing. And hands down, month planning is working the best at keeping people hyper focused on what their goals are. And I think, again, it comes back to this, like really keeping your eye on that 90-day goal. And it's really easy to like set a quarter goal, but then it's February and you're like, I kind of want to have a different goal, which is to like close 10 sales calls this week or this month or something like that. So having that month planning, I think, really anchors people back into their 90-day goal and keeps them really focused. So I would say like have your weekly entrepreneurial calendar, but then really make some kind of commitment to your month plan process that you want to do. We have a product called Goal Getting Workshop that you can purchase. I'll leave details about it eventually somewhere here, or you'll hear me talk about it. But I really recommend it. This is the process that we use every single month, but I definitely am an advocate for like just taking the time once a month and like recommitting to your business, recommitting to your goals. And I think this is the number one like killer of that shiny object syndrome. It's the cure. So those are the things that are working in all four of the systems that we focus on every year. If you want to know more about those systems, we cover all of them in your most profitable quarter yet. And so if you're like growth system, operations, what are you talking about? Come over there and check it out, or just ask me below. But anyway, I hope that was helpful, and let me know if you're planning to implement any of these things that are working really well in 2021.